think if you think you're not an expert at something, you really try hard at it. When I sent my youngest to school and I came into the office, I thought if I'm going to devote myself to this, I need to know I'm doing the best job that you can possibly do. I don't like to not do the best job at things. So we definitely needed to make sure that we were running the best possible business we could. And you can always do better. There's always ways to improve.
And that was improving ourselves, getting good advice.
Getting the best team around us that we could. Being challenged is a really big one for us. We get really upset if people blow wind because that doesn't help us do anything. We want people to tell us what we're doing wrong,
yes,
what we can do better,
yes,
what we haven't thought of, and just check us all the time.
Welcome to the Profitable Farmer Podcast, where we share stories and tips to help you run a better farming business and create your very own freedom farm. If you're looking to work smarter and not harder in your farm business, welcome. You're in the right place. G'day, and I hope this finds you well. All the best for 2026 as you launch into your new season. I hope you've had an enjoyable break and that you're now well and truly getting your head set for a positive new year. It gives me great pleasure in this interview to round out our series where our FOA coaches interview some of their rockstar members. It's been great to hear from Hayley, Rick and Marina as they've shared stories of our members just doing amazing things. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Cassandra Cath to you. Cassandra and her husband, Andrew, have been just such valued members of our alumni. They've just achieved so much in their farm and their business. I've interviewed them on a prior podcast. Cass is now a really valued coach with us, and Andrew is part of our wellbeing team, supporting the men of FOA around resilience and wellbeing. But today I asked Cass to interview one of her incredible members in Ben and Kate Johns, who farm Kantara farming on the Darling Downs, juggling a farm business alongside raising 4 daughters and doing it all with real intention. This isn't a story about loving tractors and chasing technical perfection. Ben and Kate returned to agriculture from corporate banking careers overseas because they saw a business worth building. They reverse engineered a farming career, learning the technical side after applying commercial discipline, capital efficiency, and investor-style thinking. Agriculture as a vehicle, business is the lens. It's an amazing story about how they supported a proactive succession, reinvented the farm business model. One of the key takeaways is Ben's evolution from hands-on technician to CEO, supported by Kate as a key strategic partner. They've built out their team. They're doing it so professionally. They're such wonderful and professional members of our community. They've lent into FOA and all that we teach with real intent, and the success that they're seeing with Cass's coaching and mentoring support is absolutely outstanding. Congratulations, Ben and Kate, on all you've achieved already and all you will continue to achieve. I think our industry is lucky to have people like Ben and Kate returning to it. It just makes it stronger. Cass, thank you sincerely for sharing their story. I'll hand over to you to interview Ben and Kate Johns from Kantara Farming.
Welcome, Ben and Kate. Lovely to chat to you today and get to know more about you and your farming business journey.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Havers.
So just before we get started, I'd love just for our audience to get a picture of where are you farming and what enterprises are you running?
Yes, so our farm is on the Darling Downs in Queensland between Toowoomba and Dalby. We're primarily intensive irrigators. We grow silage. Our model is growing silage for local feedlots, particularly the long-fed Wagyu feedlots. We have mainly irrigated through flood irrigation, centre pivots. We have some dry land as well. I'm a third generation on this farm, and Kate and I do it together with our 4 daughters.
Great. Thank you. And before we really delve into what the business looks like today, I really want to go right back. How did each of you find your way into agriculture and into this life of farming together?
Well, I grew up at Tallwood, west of Gundawindi, on a mixed operation, sheep, cattle, dry land, irrigation, bit of everything. My parents are definitely entrepreneurs and went from quite a small sheep enterprise to they run quite a lot of properties, all doing different and complementary things. I had a wonderful childhood and went off to boarding school and then went to uni. Ben and I have known each other forever from school and uni, and then we went overseas together. But I'll let you say your early bit. And
yeah, so I grew up here on the family property. Yeah, similar. Went away to boarding school. From school to university, I did a bachelor in commerce accounting, and then I wasn't quite ready to leave the uni life, and did a master's in another year and a half at uni, a master's in agricultural economics. Yeah, no coincidence that I had hooked up with a really smart country girl at the same time, and basically spoon-fed me my master's to me in Kate here.
I wrote the thesis.
Kate wrote my thesis, yeah. There's no doubt about that. So I've got the piece of paper, but Kate wrote it, let's be honest, yeah. And then from there, so I did a, the pathway to ag in that there was no focus from either of us really to get into ag at that stage.
No.
No.
You wanted to go and see the world.
Yeah, exactly right. So I was honestly, I was just chasing action. I just wanted most fun for anywhere in the world, really. So I did a ski season in France, met up with Kate in London, and we worked in investment banks in London. And then we did a ski season together in Austria, from the booms of sort of 06 through to the lows of the GFC 08, 09. We saw it in London, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to go from farming childhood off to university and then corporate banking overseas. Yeah, take us back there. What did that chapter of your life really look like day to day in that corporate environment?
We didn't go looking to investment bank, but when we got to London, that's where all the money was. And when I say all the money, it was crazy. It was so much fun. We just went and tried to get our foot in the door, which we did, and started as temps. And it was so easy to work your way up. We just worked hard, partied hard, and got offered more money, better jobs, and just kept going higher. So I worked in credit risk for Royal Bank of Scotland and then Barclays Capital, and Ben was in market risk for Morgan Stanley and
Credit Suisse.
Between us, we were in the best position to watch the GFC unfold. I was there for the Thai coup. When the Thai coup happened, in credit risk, that was a huge thing. We were there when Lehman's closed down, the run on Northern Rock, everything with Bear Stearns. I mean, that was the bad part. It was exciting, but it was worrying. But before that, it was just all money.
Yeah. So average day, we'd probably, we lived in Clapham Common. We'd get up. I like to get in early and run all the reports early. So we'd be in there by 6 or 7 a.m. and we'd be out of there by 6 or 7 at night and in the pub by 7.
The Christmas parties were legendary. They'd set up bars on all the levels of the banks, and you'd go in one by one and get your bonuses. And it was just champagne bars from 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was fun. It was so much fun.
It was crazy. And then the GFC hit and things changed a little. But it was still very exciting. Yeah. Hit a lot earlier in market risk.
Yeah. So hearing lots of excitement, adrenaline.
Yes.
Work was fun, stressful, exciting. So what did this whole environment of corporate banking teach you guys about performance and pressure?
I think for me, certainly confidence in a corporate environment with groups of intelligent people. It gave me a real thirst to surround myself with intellectual conversation, and obviously the big hours, the great teams, the great social side around the teams.
You can work hard when you can play hard on the side.
Yeah, it does. It does catch up. But yeah.
We had a really wonderful life there, and we could have continued. We actually looked at possibly staying and buying a house and starting a family and living our lives over there. And it was a really difficult decision to make. And Ben didn't know if he wanted to farm, but I said I didn't want him to be 40 or 50 and then decide he didn't know if he wanted to farm, and we needed to give it a go first. But we both knew that to go home to farming, it had to be equal or better. So we weren't going to go home to a starvation block.
No.
We had to go home to a really good potential business, or a business that we could turn into something great. But we also had great belief in ourselves. We could have gone and made a business, a cleaning business, or, anything.
But yeah, the catalyst for me to exit over there was definitely the lifestyle of going to work in the dark, coming home in the dark.
It wasn't terribly healthy.
Not terribly healthy.
There was a lot of sitting down and a lot of drinking. I
was a big white, pale butterbean walking around London, really. In the end.
Yeah, pros and cons.
Yeah,
was there anything in that period that you actually thought, this doesn't actually fit what we thought was our future?
Yeah, it's also the more we earned, the more we spent. You know what I mean? When we'd elevate, everything be elevating. So are you really catching up? Not so much. We did save some money. We bought a little house when we got home.
Yeah, we did quite well.
I think it was the unnatural to sit in that box. It's fun.
And not to see the sun.
No, it's fun. It's fun when you're hungover and you may as well be in a box. Doesn't matter where you are, but it's not sustainable for life, though. Right? You know what I mean?
No, it's not. And then to stretch yourself out in the common like every other Londoner on the weekend, trying to
sun up. But all my bosses would have their families on the outside of London and either do at least an hour train in and work, or they'd have a little city flat and go home to the family on weekends. And
we're a real partnership, and that didn't appeal to me at all.
No.
I knew that it would end up with us possibly having a flat and a house, and most of those marriages didn't survive. And that, I wasn't signing up for that. So in the end, it was a fairly easy decision. It was quite hard going from something that we felt we were doing quite well in to coming home to the family farm and
being very junior.
Giving right back to the bottom. But it was good for us.
Yeah.
Now let's explore that moment. Was there a defining moment or a conversation where you decided, let's turn our backs on the excitement, the glitz and glamour of London, on the corporate journey, and actually make that decision? We are going to head back.
There was a moment for us. We had flights to Rome for the weekend and accommodation, and
which we did a lot of.
Which we did every other weekend. And we were ready to go. We were all packed. And I rang Ben on Friday during our lunch hours, and I said, I just can't be bothered. I just want to sit at home. Let's just have a week. Who cares? We'll just blow the money. Like, who cares about all of that? Let's just have a weekend at home this weekend. And we talked that weekend and thought, well, maybe it's time. Maybe if we're just happy to be at home, maybe we should go home. If we're over making the most of all those opportunities, perhaps it's the right time.
And for you, Ben, did you have any sort of underlying undercurrents of, I'm ready to go back?
Yeah, there was certainly no pull from home for me. There was no words said you should come home or anything. I just felt that it just wasn't a sustainable life to be an office man for myself. I had to either drastically change the way I lived or leave.
You also said you wanted to start building something.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and
it was time to build our assets and make our own way.
Yeah, and also
with a bit more seriousness.
Yeah, the luxury of eventually working for yourself is that was conversations we had there.
And so, what were the conversations with your parents, Ben, about this next stage?
Well, I gave them plenty of forewarning that, I said, I'm thinking about it. Is this an option? Yeah, that's an option. Yeah, really excited. I thought, great, I'm going to do it. I'll see you home. I moved back home into Mum and Dad's home, into the spare bedroom.
But we had talked about there being a cottage here.
Yeah, it was all here. But that's not how I came home.
No,
it was
me neither.
you know,
I moved in here too with Ben's parents for a little while.
but I turned up home and I kind of hoped that Dad had got excited and maybe set out a bit of a mud map of what we should do together and what he's got in his head and the excitement.
The strategic growth plan, or
it was basically come home and be his offsider. There was no plan. There was no real excitement around it. So that was
just accompanied him.
It was
all day.
It was a slow start. Yeah, it was a slow start.
Yeah. And so I imagine that was a huge contrast from where you had been to coming back into that family farm.
There was some pretty dramatic adjustments there, Cass. I did appreciate, though, that I didn't have much knowledge. I hadn't lived home since I was 12, really. So, there wasn't a whole lot of knowledge there, apart from, your ingrained childhood stuff. I was more than happy to be basically at the start.
I think also your dad, that generation were looking for practical skills that you might bring home. And if you didn't, you needed to learn them. The skills you had were more in the office, not the practicalities.
Exactly right.
Those didn't matter.
Not at that stage.
No.
Yeah. So it was actually returning to do an apprenticeship as a farmhand.
Wholeheartedly, Cass. Yep. I was not even given the important tractor jobs for a while. Yeah.
You didn't have a ute?
No, I didn't have a ute. It was a slow start. Very slow.
Slow start. And I guess for many of us, we can relate to having to work our way up. But you had already done that in your university corporate career.
Yes.
And did it feel like you were taking a step backwards?
Yes, and everyone reminded me that I spoke to as well, going, what are you doing? But I really enjoyed my days. Dad and I always worked well side by side. We'd have great conversations. We had our battles in other areas, but the actual day-to-day, it was actually really easy and enjoyable. So I always had that.
It was probably a little bit later that the challenges really came when Ben had felt like he'd done his farmhand apprenticeship. But the only other part in the early days that used to drive him a little bit crazy was morning tea, lunch.
Sleep after lunch. Whereas he's a young man and he just wanted to get stuck in. Yeah, I just wanted to hook in, and there wasn't a capacity there to do that.
So frustrations of impatience.
Definitely.
Yeah. And
I think his parents would agree that he was very impatient.
Yeah.
And I guess there's always that sort of the messy in the middle. What were the real challenges that you were seeing in this family business, this farming business, when you'd come at it with fresh eyes?
Yeah, it's poor focus, poor value of time, very risk adverse. But everyone has their journey for a reason, and there's actions in the past that have sort of set the path for the way it needs to be. But
or for us to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
We were able to do a lot to
exactly right. Well,
turn things around.
Exactly right. So we came home to a property with a lot of opportunities, a lot of growth potential, and I just had to do my time with the family to then eventually action those opportunities. And it was potentially we're better off for it. I don't know, but it was frustrating.
It's the old slowing down to speed up.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually had a little moment where I said, stop annoying them, stop pestering them with ideas. Just enjoy your days and come home and see Kate and little babies. And
yes, we decided to make the most of it and just have Ben home for bath time and go to the coast on the weekend, and because all the pushing in the world wasn't changing anything. So
yeah,
a conscious choice to embrace this as a season in your life.
Yes,
wholeheartedly, Cassie.
We just had more babies.
Exactly right. We weren't busy enough, obviously.
So I think back to a conversation that we've had around business owners versus farmers, and something you said has really stuck with me, that if your parents had run a dry cleaning business or a curtain business, you would have come back and embraced that as your next step after London. So, what about business really draws you in?
Yeah, I love the game, Cass. Like, you talk to probably a lot of my peers had, they couldn't wait to finish school to sit on a tractor and dig in the dirt. And I do love farming, but it's the business that excites me. It's the growth. It's getting with Kate, building strategy, actioning strategy,
we don't do what we love. We just follow the money. And if that, as you say, had been a curtain business, if it had been a good curtain business or a curtain business with potential, we would have been there and we would love curtains. We'd be all over curtains.
Yes.
It's never been the thing that, although we were probably the little kids that loved being in the dirt, and there's so much about the rural lifestyle and bringing up kids here that we adore, but that's not why we're here. If this wasn't making good money, we wouldn't be.
No.
So what did the next steps for you transitioning from the apprentice farmhand evolving to the business ownership?
Yes, so we had family succession. Probably at this point, we'd finished having our children.
We were running the office pretty much.
We were pretty much running the business.
Making most of the decisions.
Running financial decisions, obviously, through the family. And and it was all great. Everyone was ready. It was a process, probably took 2 years, start to finish.
Yes, it was one of those things that you never think you'll get there. And there was a lot of, it was really hard. And there were times we didn't think it was going to be successful, but it went really quickly at the end.
Yeah.
We made lots of concessions. They made lots of concessions. But the thing that struck me the most is that every time someone got upset or confused or needed clarity, Ben's dad would just slow the whole thing down, which was frustrating in a lot of ways. But we would just talk and talk and talk and talk until either you could see someone else's perspective, they could understand yours, you came to an agreement that was halfway in the middle. And so everything that happened, we were all okay with. And so we've come out of it just feeling really proud of ourselves and really proud of them and really proud of our whole family. And even when it was finally done, we all went out and celebrated for dinner, didn't we?
Exactly right. And now we've moved past that and just have a great personal relationship with my parents.
Which has been actually the best thing. That's
amazing. Anything you would share for other younger farmers around this?
Yes, so many things, but yes, a great succession coordinator, facilitator. And
you can't do it without it.
And it has to be someone that the older generation have full faith in. We're a bit more comfortable in that formal setting, so we're comfortable for being our own advocate and being able to express our concerns in that format. But potentially the older generation aren't. So you need a really good facilitator to be able to massage and nurture those thoughts out in that environment. And the guy we had, Dad, had known socially for a while, and it just worked really, really well.
But he did that as a job. You have to be an actual facilitator. You can't be a paid solicitor or an accountant because you're only actually then working for one side, really. You have to be a negotiator of both sides. You have to be able to explain to one party that the other party aren't doing this to offend you. This is their reasoning, or maybe have you thought this, or maybe there could be another way to look at it.
And also, well-being checks.
Well-being checks and kindness checks.
Yeah. I remember this fellow said to me, and he'd pull you up if you're out of line, in that I said, we're talking about the exit number for Dad, and so obviously money I have to borrow to fund basically the rest of their life. Yeah. Yes. And I said, that's a huge amount. That'll stall the business. Like we won't grow. And he said, mate, that's the cost of independence. You want to be out on your own. This is what it costs. And I'm like, well, they're back in your box, boy. Like,
yes. And also we thought we just want independence.
Yeah.
We will be able to take this business and run with it as only if we're independent. So that made it an easy choice. But it was a really good point.
You need a check.
You need a check sometimes.
Yeah. So when I'm hearing you say we prioritised independence, how has that played out for you in the next step of that journey?
It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
We're not terribly risk averse. We're willing to throw it all on the line, having really thought about it and having what we consider are some safeguards. But we want to have fun having a go at this journey. And so we needed to be independent to do that.
And it's gone well, Kath. Well, we've had fortunate times.
Great seasons.
We did the succession at the end of 19, end of that drought. So we got a lot of tax concessions with the poor income and turnover during that period. And then from there, we had that sort of COVID period and where we just grew, the commodity prices were good and costs were still down. So we had a great start. And then we've sort of moved into more of a, now we've sort of had the growth, trying to get the business looking great,
Humming along.
Yeah.
So just on that, the business that you took over was a good business.
Yes, Kath. It was a good business without running at 100% that I could see. So there was heaps of potential.
It also had very reasonable debt levels.
Great debt levels, which helped with the succession.
Yes, it allowed us to get through succession and still have a little bit of room to move to. We had to update all the gear.
Yeah.
We bought a neighbouring block that we weren't ready to, but it came up and we probably wouldn't get that opportunity again. Ben's an amazing relationship builder, and we were offered a neighbouring block and to no one else. They didn't speak to anyone else and everyone would have wanted it. So we couldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. So we extended ourselves to do that.
Yes. That was it 18 months after the succession?
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me more about relationship building. How big a part does that play in your business and in success?
Ben is uniquely talented at this, and I think I've seen him do it the whole 20 whatever years we've been together, 23 years. And at times it can be annoying. We can be at any airport I've ever been to, anywhere in the entire world, he will run into someone he knows. And people think this is crazy, but it happens every single time. He's always booking up things on the calendar and organising lunches that I don't know about and all sorts of things. But I can really see now, and I read something about this a while ago, and it said that it's like they invest in this their whole lives and it really starts to pay off in their 40s and 50s. And I can see that this is a huge asset to us. Our marketing relationships in the business, every supplier we have, all of our staff, getting that block, they all come out of Ben's relationship building, and he's uniquely talented at it.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a task.
It's so valuable to our business and he loves it. So
yeah, take the time to reflect on that. You enjoy it, but you're actually also seeing the benefits flowing back through.
Yeah. So from a business model point of view, we've got really great relationships with these feedlots, so much so that they basically ring me and say, how much can you send our way this year? And we'll work out a price. And that's on two relationships.
you're their first call.
Yes. So it's excellent. And there's room there for growth. We can scale up and keep the same model. Yeah.
We can replicate.
Yeah. They're really great people. And I think we've got a real focus for silage, which is a bit unique. Not around here, a lot of guys will probably jump in and out a bit into cotton and other grains and things, but we really focus on the silage primarily. So I think they appreciate that as well.
That loyalty they can rely on. Yeah. And it keeps we never, ever don't supply.
I just want to go back to that concept of a good business. I really want to know, was there a point where being a good business wasn't enough for you?
Oh, definitely for me. When I finished having children and the youngest went to school, I knew, you think that you're running a good business. A lot of it was in Ben's head because he has an accounting background. I wholeheartedly trusted him with all of that side of things, and he's so brilliant at it. And people often say, oh, you're so lucky, like you must be so good at all of that. But in a way, it makes you worse at it because he sort of knew it. He wasn't running benchmarking and
extensive budgets
and
yield forecasting. It was basic reporting.
Yes, basic. Because whereas I think if you think you're not an expert at something, you really try hard at it. When I sent my youngest to school and I came into the office, I thought if I'm going to devote myself to this, I need to know I'm doing the best job that you can possibly do. I don't like to not do the best job at things. So we definitely needed to make sure that we were running the best possible business we could. And you can always do better. There's always ways to improve.
And that was improving ourselves, getting good advice.
Getting the best team around us that we could. Being challenged is a really big one for us. We get really upset if people blow wind because that doesn't help us do anything. We want people to tell us what we're doing wrong,
Yes.
what we can do better,
Yes.
what we haven't thought of, and just check us all the time.
Is there anything that you were tolerating in that good phase that you wouldn't tolerate now?
Yeah, we had an agronomist who was a lovely fella and really smart fella, but too passive. I'd have to make sure I didn't have an opinion when I asked him for something. Otherwise, he wouldn't give his. He'd be more than. So we've grown from there.
We hadn't gone and chosen our own accountant, solicitor. We have a strategic advisor now. There was lots. Staff. I think that's changed a lot.
Yeah.
We expect far more.
Structure. We would have put up with a lot poorer weekly structure. We're very structured now with our weekly meetings, monthly meetings. Kate and I do great strategy. We had no strategic plan in that world. We
had a loose plan, but it wasn't done properly. It didn't have steps. We didn't have a huge goal, which is great to have a huge goal. And
you work back from there, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
In this whole process of business transformation, was there a point where you realised that the business couldn't keep growing with Ben still being hugely in the operational space?
Oh, absolutely. That was a really long process. I came from farms where we did have staff. We had quite a lot of staff. And Ben's family had one old timer a couple of days a week or that sort of thing. And it took me so long to convince Ben to get a farmhand. So years. We had a few summers where we kept putting up more pivots. When you first put a pivot in, there's always issues with the fish filter and he would just spend literally every waking hour working to the bone. We didn't go away once. He was missing everything for the kids. It's only for summer, so you can it's only summer. We'll just do it for summer. But then things started to change in winter too, and I just said, this isn't a life. I can't do this. This is not fun. You're not having fun. We're cranky at each other all the time. And so we got a farmhand who was a local kid. He was going home to his family farm and we got him in the interim and he was excellent. He was a goer. And Ben just couldn't believe the difference he made to his life. And from that moment, Ben's been sold.
Yeah. So we've moved past that now. We've got a full-time ops manager now, 2 farm hands under him. And I've done a lot of exit out of the operations and see myself as a full-time CEO now with dipping my toe in operationally, but sort of under the ops manager, under his instructions mainly to help out. And
at your choosing.
Exactly right. So we're doing been spending my time now sort of growing the business and the strategy side of things. We're doing a lot of, figured and zero trimming up and
benchmarking.
I've really enjoyed that.
And getting the place looking perfect, just seeing all the areas that aren't absolutely perfect, we've been getting the OH&S up and that's all organised and it's great, amazing to have a really great OH&S system that you feel super confident in.
Yeah.
Just all the parts of the puzzle are doing what they should.
Sit above the business now.
Yes, absolutely.
Can we go back a step to those conversations around putting an ops manager in? I can imagine there was some fears, there was some hesitations about what that looked like for you, Ben, transitioning from operations.
Yeah, there was, but we went to the Top Producers Farm Owners Academy day, 2 days, wasn't it?
Mm.
And it was very clear in the little intro demonstration, how important that was. And it's just sort of the way the universe aligns. I'd seen a man working for someone else who I thought would be great in that role before I went to that day. And I had thought about how great he would be as a really senior farmhand. And then I went to the Top Producers. We signed up for Platinum Mastermind. We then came out of that and I said to Kate, I think we need to offer that bloke an operations manager role and he can run the operations and we can work on the business. And Kate was like, wow.
Oh my goodness, can't believe you're saying this.
Aha moment, yeah. And then we did it and he's been installed ever since. So he'd never had a role like that before, but he was sort of a high energy, high enthusiasm sort of guy. You know, we're working on him in areas particularly around staff and being sort of honest with himself and the team and
being gentle.
Being gentle, yeah. But
and he
it's
has
been a great
energy
move.
like nobody else.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He's works really hard on himself. He just gets our vision and he just works so hard to achieve it.
Yeah. And he lives on farm. He loves it. Like, he actually loves
the lifestyle. He loves the culture. He loves building a culture. He's wonderful.
Yeah. And he's a little bit older than me, and it's just a good dynamic. So, Cass, on that question, I didn't hang on too tight. You know, we stood on each other's toes for a bit, but we talked it through, particularly around the staff. Quite often I'd tell them what to do when I really shouldn't have. But apart from that, it was pretty good, wasn't it, really?
Yes, Ben doesn't see himself as a great operational technician. He's always said, I wasn't great at that. But I think that the past few years has shown when he is endlessly going out and teaching these guys things, even though they've spent their entire lives being technicians, I think his knowledge is actually far greater than he gives himself credit for. But
yeah, I suppose because I didn't have that sort of hands-on background. I always thought I was just sort of keeping up in that space, the operational space. But some people around me, and I realised, I taught it all myself.
And that's why, because you had nobody to ask. So you had to figure everything out. And so you know everything. But no, it's been fantastic. And Ben is just a natural fit in the office. It's where he really gets excited talking to people on the phone and making deals and finding out information and
research and yeah.
So yeah, in the last 2 years, your role in business, Ben, has changed dramatically.
It really has. People talk about having CEO time. I don't see it like that at all, in that I am the CEO. My time is CEO time. I give operational time. Like, you know, I mean, it's a bit of a flip. Yeah.
Yeah. What advice would you give to our listeners that really struggle with this, you know, the operator, the technician, feeling like they don't have time to be working on CEO or strategy? Also, those ones that struggle leveraging with their team, all these successful shifts that you two have made in your business. Yeah, what advice would you give to other farmers?
I think you have to make the decision to be the CEO, and from there you then make that your focus to make that happen by, and obviously employing a operations manager, and have some faith and let him go. You know, you're still there, you're still on farm, you're still in the office, you're still driving around every day, and he's willing to sit down of an evening, and if you see some things around the farm or you want to talk to him, his plans for the week. And I don't know, I think I'm pretty good at our ops manager. He fully feels like he's running it. But the reality is we sit down every Monday morning and talk out the week. The path's set in the direction I want it to be going. And
but we're very happy to let him think he's in charge of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
We actually try hard to make him think that.
Yeah, we actually make a real effort to make him feel like he is running the whole thing. And quite often I'll have comments like, mate, we're always on the same page, but is this what you're thinking? And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
And we're very aligned because of it.
Yeah.
I think another aspect to that question is that beforehand, Ben would often think about what he would not be able to get done if he was doing CEO work. And I think you have to realise that by not doing CEO work, there's a lot of things that are not getting done as well. You know, you're missing out on staying on top of a part of the business that is ultimately almost more important, or is more important.
Yesterday we had our tax planning meeting followed by a banking review, and both meetings went seamlessly because we were supremely well prepared. We had everything they needed, and it just flowed really well.
They surpassed our expectations.
They did, and we got, with the banking review, we had quite a few restructure requests, and it all went through seamlessly. And I think it was the time that I had to prepare for those meetings. It was, well, how good was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that, sometimes when you make these bold moves, there's a lag time. So you make the change, you guys chose to, let's put an ops manager in. Now we're 2 years down the track and you're seeing the full results coming through, as in an amazing bank meeting, amazing tax meeting yesterday that 2 years ago you wouldn't have had the headspace to be as prepared. and, really extract maximum value from those advisors.
And it did take quite a while. You don't put an ops manager on and then you're free 2 weeks later. It took probably a year of really intense, a bit more time in the office and a lot of time out with him.
Yeah.
And some stuff ups.
Yeah.
And some that cost a lot of money. But the ultimate trajectory has kept putting us in the office more and more. And 2 years on, I feel like in the last 6 months, it's been a complete transformation.
The division of duties is really obvious now. The org chart has really solidified. Yeah.
So what system structures do you think you've put in place that have really supported your ops manager to have real success in his role?
So that weekly meeting is a no-brainer. The
Quarterlies with him.
The 90-day sort of operational sort of direction, no-brainer.
But we do also let him in on a lot of our strategic direction. We give him as much knowledge as we can.
We do a yearly agronomy review with the agronomy team.
And a lunch with him afterwards.
A bit more, special sort of sit-up lunch, just things like that. I've tried to create a lot of systems, particularly around the irrigation, to help him learn and be autonomous there. And it is a complicated one. It's the last one I've been able to try and hand over. I'm still getting called out a fair bit on that, but it doesn't concern me one tiny bit. But that's the last one. We've got sort of systems around the machinery maintenance now. It's still a work in progress, but it's all documented now.
A really good occupational health and safety
which he's now running.
Which actually I think is now ludicrous that anyone else would run, because he sees what everyone's doing all the time, and it's hard to check in and know. I used to feel quite stressed trying to be across it.
We built it.
And he took it over, and that's wonderful. But I think ultimately is giving him the staff he needs to do the job.
Yeah.
And putting them in the right space. Having someone who mainly sits on a tractor and a junior farmhand that does all the tidying up and grading and spraying.
I think we've got to try. We're getting better at recruiting personalities that work with him as well.
He's a driver.
Yeah.
So he's got great extreme expectations of people, and we have to choose the right people under him that fit with his personality. And then it just hums.
And how have you coached and mentored him as a driver? So we know those personalities can push pretty hard. Sometimes some have a little bit less tolerance for someone that's slower and more conservative. Talk us through how you optimize that personality type and coach him through working with the rest of the team.
Yeah, well, it's actually the part of his review that we speak about the most. We review all his sort of, farm, crop results, cleanliness and paddock conditions and timeliness and irrigation timeliness and fertilizer timeliness and all those things. And he does really well. But then we always end up spending an hour or so talking about how, the culture we want on farm, how he speaks to the farm hands, how he's got to realise what their personalities are and what
their generation, how their generation differs from his, has been a really big one. We just have an endless conversation about it almost every day, and he tries really hard. He works at it very hard. We also are doing a leadership course with all of our staff, which is about everything from conflict resolution to
your culture
and how you speak to each other and how to get people to do better for you. And that's been really wonderful. We've put him in charge of organising all the team building exercises, all the dinners, and he loves that, puts a lot of thought into it. I think just giving him more, empowering him more in that space.
But also, lifting the expectations on it continually as well. How you dealt with those guys last week wasn't good enough, mate. We need to get better. You need to speak to them nicer. You need to, support them better. You should, if they weren't trained up on something, mate, it's your job to make sure they're trained. Don't throw them on. You got to lift your...
And if then they get thrown on an implement and something happens to it, he'll think, oh, what have they done? Whereas we say, well, mate, where did the system fall over? Where was the training lacking? What could you have done to help prepare them better? And so that's been a real mind shift for him.
So, yeah, the people investment is becoming more and more your focus. Because
yes.
I can see you're seeing the freedom that comes from having an empowered team, a skilled team.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So now that you're really embracing the CEO role, Ben, I'd love to hear what's been some unexpected benefits that you couldn't have quantified before. Now that you're in there, in the office, getting that CEO identity, I'd love to hear some wins from that shift.
First thing that comes to my mind is definitely spending more time with Kate in the strategy side of things and our business growing side of things. We have really in-depth conversations. We have
masterminds.
Yeah, we're a little mini mastermind, the two of us. Yeah, we will bash ideas around. We build our strategic plan together.
Daily, probably.
Yeah.
We work on it endlessly.
We take wins away together. We celebrate. Yeah, that's been my biggest takeaway in the CEO, getting more time with Kate in the business together. Other wins, obviously the freedom. We
don't farm to holiday at all, do we? We don't do this so we can get away.
No. We
love doing this.
We love being here. We can't ever imagine exiting the business. It lights us up. We're striving to set up that we could do it anywhere.
And for more businesses.
Exactly
like
right. So you could potentially replicate and do the same job for another entity. But we do
don't
love
want to put it under management.
No, we love it.
And head off to the coast. We love going to the coast, but we love coming home. And actually going away for 2 or 3 days just really energizes us. Sometimes it is great to step off farm. Strategy somehow becomes clearer sometimes in stepping off farm, and then we just get reinvigorated to come back and implement all of our changes.
Yeah. I've always had focus on doing things with the kids. That's not new for me.
No, I think it's just been really great to see how far you can go and how much better your business can be when you put so much more time into budgeting and your finances. Strategy meetings we have a consultant who helps us with that. There's so much depth there. You can't just say, oh, I'm all over my budgeting. Like, you can just keep going and you can find wins that you didn't know you had or that even existed.
Yeah, or
ideas for where we can take this place. What can we do next? What's next?
Education, courses, field days.
And do you feel more confident in your decisions together and your future growth by actually prioritizing those conversations, removing them from, oh, it's dinner time, let's talk about this idea over the kids' homework conversation, or the on-the-run conversations that a lot of couples, we can all fall into that trap when we work together in a business?
Yes, it is really nice to have a lot of dedicated time to do. We still do that because we talk about it all day. But now we can say, look, let's just leave this. But it's more because we're excited to talk about it. But it has been really wonderful to sit down or to go to town for the day and have a dedicated off-farm space to just nut things out, to do our big annual planning or quarterly plans. It's been wonderful. So much more clarity. It's so much easier to make decisions. Actually just really obvious now.
So I'd love to hear, how would you describe your business today compared to the moment that you took over post-succession?
We are productive. We are producing at capacity. We're not wondering. There's no wonder left. We know we're pushing as hard as we can.
There is not a skerrick of grass that Ben can plough up.
We scratched up every bit of dirt and we've got crop in it. We've put up pivots and no cows anymore.
There were different income streams and we just chased the money. We just looked at what poured us the most back into our pocket, and we went hard at those. We simplified aggressively, simplified machinery. We don't need a lot. We run a pretty lean, mean operation.
Yeah. We're fine-tuning now. We're trying to push yields. We're trying to be better in the business, trying to make better decisions. We're trying to build, safe with systems.
Being a tiny bit overstaffed is the best thing ever. I think most farms run on chronically slight understaffing or major understaffing, and to be a little bit overstaffed is fantastic because, we have clean pump sheds and we have every weed.
Slightly different perspective. In business, there's always issues, there's always problems. I'd love to hear from you what's an issue or a problem that still exists but feels really different now that you've done all this work.
Well, a recent one that's come to mind is we probably traditionally never really had a focus on cash retention. We've traditionally developed out of the overdraft. We've purchased things out of the overdraft. We've probably the fact that we had such, good commodity prices and good growth sort of masked that a bit. But in recent years,
And it was a legacy from your
wholeheartedly.
dad. That's how he liked to operate, and there was lots of rules around why you did that.
Yeah, and you can be clouded by the tax benefits and things from your accountant. We've kind of really focused just recently on keeping that cash and financing development over the term of its use and machinery over the term of its use. And it's still there, but we're really well planned. We've got good people around us who've sort of got some advice on this, and we've our banking review yesterday removed a bit of long-term debt out of the overdraft. And but it's not a stress. We just have the conversations, we get the support of the people around us, and we move forward.
And actually we see great benefits now in tough times, problems, because they teach you so much, and it means you run a leaner enterprise, or you run a more simple enterprise, or you've changed things, and that always is of benefit in the future. So they're all welcome.
Yeah, that's great. And it's all these things are all part of our journey. We learn so much along the way, and what happens to us in the challenging times can really set us up for positioning our business to be ready to take advantage of opportunities.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to just touch on, in the Farm Owners Academy community, we run an annual awards night for all our clients in Platinum Mastermind. And Kate and Ben, you were recognised in what we call the Busy Bee Award. So that's a reflection of how you have engaged in all aspects of the Platinum Mastermind program. And I'd just love to hear from you. You've got an all-in attitude. You play full tilt. I'd love just to hear where that mindset comes from and how you utilise that in everything you do.
Where's it come from? I don't know any different. Do you know any different? I think you do.
I don't think so.
No, I don't.
I like to win.
Kate's competitive. Kate's super intelligent and hardworking, and I've got energy. And you put the two together, and
extreme extrovert.
Put it all together, and who doesn't love an award? A pat on the back. Jeepers, we didn't do it for that,
but it made you feel amazing.
Where'd it come from? I don't know.
It's who we individually are, and together we're more than the sum of our parts somehow.
Yeah.
And if we're going to do something, well, you want to do it to the very best of your ability. You want to have a real crack. And so we took this on knowing Ben wasn't that keen to take it on initially. But once we decided, he threw himself in as well. And if you're going to do it and you're going to pay for it, well, we need to get the maximum out of it.
But it's so obvious when you give it everything, how it all folds together, and
every aspect's there for a reason.
Exactly right. You can't skip elements.
No.
Do it all hard. But we're a play hard, work hard sort of dynamic.
Yeah.
So.
And when you say we do it together, we complement each other, I'd love to hear from your perspectives, the power of the two of you working in Eugenius zones, complementing each other to grow this business?
I can't imagine doing it by myself. I can't imagine, and everyone's different, but for me personally, I can't imagine trying to run the business and run my life and then have Kate distant doing, say, her own business or something. It would be like to do farm owners without the support of Kate and run the business. It would be supremely difficult. And I take my hat off to those gentlemen who've got busy wives and then are doing it by themselves, because it's twice the load.
Even just farming by yourself, it's such an all-encompassing profession. You don't leave it at the front door, or in your car on your drive home. It's not, especially, well, irrigating certainly isn't like that. Ben's up and down all night checking pumps and.
Put it this way, Cass. If Kate wasn't involved, I wouldn't have got the busy bee award.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a given. What actively do you guys do to create so much alignment together?
Lot of wine, Cass. What do we add?
We pillow
But
talk
that
all
is
the
celebrating.
time. We celebrate.
You're very good at celebrating your wins.
We do this because we love it. So because we love it, we talk about it in our personal time. And so we enjoy talking about it over a glass of wine at night. The kids are a real drag on us talking about the business.
Yeah.
We're always interrupting. But we're just best mates. We're best mates. I think Ben's really intelligent. We match each other in our conversations.
Yeah.
We think completely differently. So he's really out of the box to me and I'm like that to him. So we get a totally different perspective on everything we talk about.
It lights us up, Cass, when we get the creative, strategic juices. We'll do it on holidays. We enjoy doing it.
We do get shocked by friends who don't even know, like they can't even work out each other's calendars. Like we can't fathom how that works. We have a Monday morning meeting together and an every morning meeting about how our day looks. Sometimes Ben says, I need you to do this thing for me in the office. And so I say, well, I'd love to do that. You need to do swimming lessons. And he's like, great, I'll do that. So neither person's role isn't able to be within limits slipped in and out of. We do what we can in the other person's shoes all the time.
No, I'll back that.
Yeah, it's the ultimate teamwork and just reinforcing communication.
Yes.
Communication is everything.
Yes.
So after hearing about all the journey, all the learnings, all the implementation, you recently asked a powerful question to your mastermind group, which was to go to the next level, what do we need to let go of? So often people think they've got to add more and more to hit the next level of success or growth. But sometimes it's actually observing what are the things that are weighing you down. What are some of those decisions that you've been avoiding? So, yeah, in this journey, we've heard you've already let go of a lot of operational tasks, things like that. But yeah, what do you feel you still have to let go of for your next level?
I think we have to get a little bit strategic in our personal lives in saying no as well. We're just extricating ourselves from the P&F. We've done that for many years for 2 schools, and I think it's definitely time. It takes a lot of time, and it's time to put that time towards something else. Things like that. I think we like to give, but I think we have to be a bit more choosy, and I can say yes to lots of things. So I have to do better at saying no, not taking too much on.
I think there's still capacity there for me to let go of being on farm. Like I can start having some bigger conversations with some, growth potential. Yeah, meeting up with some sort of high net worth individuals and talking future sort of stuff. I can grow there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say grow, what does that look like? Share the vision. What's next for Kantara?
Well,
I think we don't 100% know, but we have a lot of avenues and a lot of options, and we don't want to limit any of them. And we would like to see what unfolds, but we're not averse to anything. Gosh,
bit of a catch cry I've had on farm with the staff is we got to get Kantara farming investor ready. So it's just a good pathway regardless, where we want the systems in place. We want the farm oozing productivity.
Oozing scale, oozing that it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks tidy and clean.
You know, what opportunities come in that space, Cass? We've got no fixed ideas, but we're willing to share, you know, what we do and how we do it. And who knows? We're excited though.
Because it's a uniquely profitable little niche. We operate in a niche that not many people operate in. And I think that not anyone can do it, because you have to have a personality, a specific personality, to really make it sing.
Because it's not a standard commodity in that it's a yearly sit down with these feedlots to work out quantity and price.
It's also specific locations, it's specific water requirements, it's specific styles of development, it's specific
quality.
It's a specific group of team, because they have to be willing to work hard in a small team. We don't have room here for farm managers and big wide gear. Lots of farm hands want big wide gear out west, and they're not going to get that here. We're sort of semi-haughty in a lot of ways.
So when you use the term investor ready, what do you feel is left on the table to be able to tick investor ready?
Well, we're doing a financial restructure at the moment. That was important. There was a few bits of gear we still needed.
I think we have the staff, we have the gear.
We're bedding down a new rotation, a better rotation with more inputs.
Really good agronomy. I think potentially we need some better results. I'd like to see our yields get up a bit higher.
We need to finish our levelling and development to do that.
Yeah, we're not the finished article here yet for a really great pitch. But also opportunity, Cass. Like I said, it's quite a niche business. We need close proximity. We need high quality, reliable water, close proximity to the feedlots. And it's
and not just any old dirt.
No, well, yeah. So, you know, if an opportunity came up, we're getting ready to push hard if we had to.
We'd throw everything at it. And that might be when we're not quite ready. It might be when we're overly ready, but we need to be ready to meet it when we can. But I don't know that we'll ever be ready, in that we'll get these things done and we'll think of the next thing and we'll think of the next thing. And
we'll chase smaller opportunities or off-farm opportunities.
And we'll just keep pushing.
So as we, wrap up the conversation, thanks again for really sharing your experiences and what you've learned. And I really do just want to go a little bit deeper in, what is the vision? What does a 10-year goal look like? What is the BHAG?
I think that it would be nice to look back at some point and possibly have some form of agricultural investment firm under our belt. Again, that could take many different shapes, but that's probably our ultimate vision, to invest in lots of different agricultural investments. This is just, it's a great business with a great net profit, and that's definitely a good place to start. If this will come to fruition, who knows? But I don't see why it couldn't.
No, we'll have enterprises all over Australia, Cass, and we'll be dotting ourselves in and injecting our wisdom into them.
Learning. Yeah, I think we'll be learning everywhere we go.
Yeah, and we'll be chasing the margins. We're not fixed in how it's done, but we'll certainly follow the numbers.
Yeah. If anyone wants to join us, come along for the ride.
Come along.
Exciting. And I think don't underplay where that meets your strengths. The networking, the CEO, looking at farming as a business. That yes, there's the lifestyle elements that we all love, but for you, like you said, it could be curtains or it could be corn silage.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
And it might not just be corn silage. It might be almonds. It might be...
If you want to replicate what we do...
It's a good place to start doing what we do.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, perhaps we'll keep doing that. Perhaps we'll add something different. I don't know.
Yeah. You're developing some really clear guidelines of what a great business looks like.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly right. And getting better at seeing it now too, through experience.
Yes, with also being really conscious not to grow broke. You do need to do it in a way that is secure and solid, that the foundations are solid.
Exciting times. Can't wait to see what the next
very
steps
excited.
are.
Absolutely. No, it's really exciting.
Might be dairying, Kate.
Might be dairying. Who knows?
Well, and once you know how to run one really great business, it's getting the systems better down and looking for opportunities to replicate.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. And if capital was never ending, we'd have the best fun ever.
Yes.
And that's what probably does set you apart, is the fact that you genuinely love business. Business is a game and you're playing it with passion.
Yes.
Yes.
Because of that, we don't see a lack of exactly the right amount of capital to do exactly the right next thing as a problem. We see it as an opportunity. That's not going to stop us from doing our BHAG or from doing the next thing or slowing down and thinking we needed to just stay here for a while and do this and bed it down. We are just going to keep pushing ahead.
Do you think that because you have leveraged yourselves from the intensity of day-to-day and irrigating shifts all night, freeing yourself up from that level of the undercurrent of burnout, do you feel like you can approach business with a fresh set of eyes?
Wholeheartedly. You cannot see the wood from the trees when you are burnt out. You can't not be burnt out when you're doing everything.
No.
You have so much more energy, so much more clarity, so much more vision.
Well, you're not going to sit down and have a fluid conversation with, say, your partner if you've been on a
Difficult.
14, 16-hour day on the tractor or changing pipes. It's not good. You're not going to get anything out of him.
We don't have any negativity in our conversations because we both feel great pretty much all the time. So all of our conversations are aspiring conversations. If you're burnt out, they don't feel like that. They feel like problems. Everything's a problem.
That's true.
Great. Well, I think we will wrap up our conversation. Thanks so much for your time and thanks for sharing your story. And the backstory is amazing of how you've got, like I said, from London to the Darling Downs, everywhere in between. It's great to see a couple tackling the business of farming with so much adventure, enthusiasm and excitement. So congratulations and well done, and can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you. And thank you for having us.
Thank you, Cass. And obviously it helps in this journey to have an excellent coach in an excellent program as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you. See ya.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Profitable Farmer podcast by Farm Owners Academy. If you're new to this show, be sure to follow us. If you've been a long-time listener, let your friends know about us or come continue the conversation in the Profitable Farmer Facebook group. All the best as you grow your business and create your freedom farm. Until next time, keep being incredible.